Don't bother calling for takeout. They put you on hold and never come back. Sorry for your inconvenience. The server taking your order had a seizure while doing so and couldn't complete the process. When you showed up to retrieve your order and it was not ready, even though there was an ambulance in the front of the restaurant and we were tending to the medical emergency at hand, we offered to complete your order at that time. I am sorry that you declined and chose to complain in a public forum. Okay, so this person knew there was a medical emergency. There's an ambulance right out the front. But that's not good enough for your order being a little bit late. What, you want the person having a seizure to make your order for you? How could anybody think that is reasonable? The child wanted to use the bathroom and asked if we could borrow one. The clerk said there was no bathroom. I expressed my willingness to pay, but the clerk still said there was no restroom. I asked where it was nearby, and the answer was that I didn't know. This indifference is truly unacceptable. I like how she said borrow a bathroom as if you somehow take a bathroom and then you give it back. And the willingness to pay. Have you ever paid for a bathroom in your entire life? Actually, genuine question. Do people actually pay for bathroom visits? Some sort of elite bathroom club that I'm not aware of. I've been missing out, man. Came to the store to quickly get my fender adjusted. Something that took less than a minute. Like getting your chains oiled or wheels pumped. Staff snarled at me, demanded that I pay for the service. If they were interested in good customer relations instead of every petty dime, I would have come back. Let's think about it this way. If they spent their whole day doing these petty little tasks for people for free, then they would never make any money. Yes, maybe to you, you don't think it's a big deal, but you're not entitled to free service. Service okay, not great, not very interested. Took a long time to get food and the restaurant was empty. 2 other people and me. Portions small. Prices too high for the portions. Cocktail was not made properly. Tasted bitter. I won't go back. Hi Christine. Sorry you were disappointed. As the bartender informed you, we were not empty but had several parties in our back room. For walk-in orders, we consider 15 minutes to be an acceptable time frame for food orders. Since that is obviously not to your standards, we agree with you on your decision to not return. And of course, the bartender informed them that they weren't actually empty, but they were busy, serving parties, in the back. These people who leave 1-star reviews, they know exactly what they're doing. They're just a little bit ticked off that something bad happened to them that day. And they think they can get away with it because, well, no one else knows that I was actually informed. Yeah, too bad that the owner can reply, 1 star, never been there. Tattoo bad in the Bible. Alright, now this just ticks me off because that's just bad hermeneutics. Just like many of the dietary restrictions in the Old Testament, this is a ceremonial law, not a moral one.
We bought a $2,000 wedding dress here for our daughter a few weeks ago. She's getting married in November, and tomorrow is her first alterations. She just received an email that said that alterations are not included and immediately called me very upset. So I called the shop. I spoke to a lady and explained to her that when we purchased the dress, the lady who took our money, we paid in full, should have told us the alterations were going to be a separate charge. This person couldn't help me, so I asked to speak to the manager.
Hi Kathy. As one of the owners of a family business, we take every review seriously. I had a great conversation with your stepdaughter yesterday. She was very kind, grateful, and apologetic. She understood that the alterations process is clearly explained on the receipt that you all received upon your purchase. Per our previous conversation and overall industry standard, alterations are not included in the purchase of any bridal gown. When we spoke, you made it clear that you had an original budget of $800 and the gown that you purchased, $1,369, was over your budget. I was happy to refund you for the gown and help you find something closer to your original budget. When you insisted you wanted to be monetarily compensated for the alterations costs, I simply explained why that could not be accommodated. While I was doing my best to have a civil conversation, you continued to be irate and accused me of being a liar because you're in customer service as well, and that's what you do. Your stepdaughter's fitting went really well. Rest assured that we will continue to give exceptional service and solicitude for her dress. She has Charlotte's best seamstress working for her. You'll also be pleased to hear that our internet is back up and running well. Oh, did she think she could get away with it? Like, their internet's down, so I can say my piece and they can't respond. So it seems like these two stories are not adding up. She's saying she bought a $2,000 dress, and then they were charging for altercations? But the owner's saying they had a budget of $800, purchased a $1,369 dress, then wanted to return it and get refunded for the altercations that they paid for. Yeah, I don't think that's how it works.
The store was out of gluten-free Oreos. When I asked a man who was working close by if they had any in the back, he just said, "No, all Nabisco items we have are out here," without checking. I was already irritated with him for brushing me off, and I said I should get the regular ones for free then, and he just laughed at me. I yelled, "I need a gluten-free option!" And he just said he could gluten-free to my chin. Oh boy. That's one worker there who's obviously like, dude, I do not have time for you. If something's out of stock, it's out of stock. It doesn't mean you get something else for free. And if you specifically want the gluten-free ones, why would you want the regular ones for free? What are you gonna do with them? You can't eat them. They got gluten in them. Have you ever been to a restaurant that does not give you the change when you pay with cash? My bill was $47.20. I gave the waitress $100, and she only gave me back $53. So I called over the manager, which was our waitress. She said we don't usually carry change. I told her to give me my $100 back and I'll pay with a credit card. 80 cents would not kill me, but it's the principle. If they do this to everyone that pays cash over a year, that could be a lot of money in their pocket.
I'd redo your math. For those of you who might not have a calculator on you, 100 minus 47.2 equals 52.8. They were giving her an extra 20 cents, but she got mad about it. And now everyone knows she's a dummy.
I feel bad for the homeless. I can't eat in front of them. Not sure why they would let someone just post up inside the store, not going back.
Okay, for context, apparently this was a McDonald's. A homeless person is coming into a Macca's. They're probably going in there to buy something, you realize? Like, just because they don't have a home doesn't mean they don't have any money for any food. It sounds like you want to exclude homeless people from going to McDonald's just so you don't feel bad about eating in front of them. That's all kinds of levels of messed up. I don't think you realize you're the one who actually deserves a 1-star review.
We were evacuated due to the wildfires, and being treated so poorly by a host during this time has been devastating. She offered us a free day for the inconvenience.
Okay, so there was a fire, and you needed to be evacuated to save your life, and you're upset by that?
They saved my life, 1 star. Please let me die.
I had an unpleasant experience here. First of all, do not assume that every customer waiting wants to have baklava and other sweets as a complimentary gift while they wait. I certainly did not want baklava. Is that how you say that, baklava? I came there to order food, not to get diabetes. I much rather would have had wanted falafel instead. The taste of food was also not all that great. Oh, wow, I'm so sorry for you that they gave you a free dessert. Oh, that must be so hard for you. Did you tell them that you wanted falafel? Did you say, "Excuse me, I don't want diabetes"? You can also not get diabetes by, not eating it. You don't have to eat it. They're not shoving it down your throat.
We went there a few times. The food is not really Italian. The seafood is frozen. The owner is very rude and doesn't take criticism well. We were told to go and eat somewhere else.
Fabio, you have come 3 times and sent food back every time and complained. I was very polite. I took half your items and kindly suggested you find an authentic place you would be happier at. Why would you eat all the food every time and complain and want to return? It's odd. To suggest I was rude is out of line. You told me that you'd already decided to not come back. Are your feelings hurt? Okay, sounds like Fabio here is a bit mad that his scam of coming in, eating half the food, and then I'm assuming gets a refund. He acts all pretend mad and says, "I'm not coming back." And they say, "Yeah, fine, don't come back." "Oh no, my scam, what have I done?" I'll leave a 1-star review. Tell the whole world what I think of you. Did I mention that the seafood's frozen? So 1 star is now what I've chosen.
Avoid this horrible place. Served the wrong plate. Insisted we pay 85% because we touched the plate.
Sorry for the inconvenience. The truth is that you noticed the waitress. You got a wrong plate when you almost finished it, and we just charged you 50% price of the plate. You also refused we bring you the right plate. We have the video record and the receipt. Always bring the receipts. Their definition of touched the plate is that they ate half of it. Yeah, you touched it with your mouth. Also, you can't do this by mistake, right? Maybe if you're in a drive-thru and you're handed a bag, you pop it down, you drive home, then you open it and you're like, oh, this is somebody else's order. Oh well, I may as well eat it. But if you're at a restaurant, you know what you ordered. Don't pretend like, oh, I ordered a toasted cheese sandwich. These pork ribs sure look like that. Nom 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 nom. Wait, the waitress is coming. Nom 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 nom. Oopsie. Golden Gate Bridge.
I came here in 2011 in December, and it was so cold I had to sit in the car. I guess living in San Diego for so long, my body was not used to the weather. We drove from San Diego to see the Golden Gate Bridge, and it was freezing. I sat in the car. That was a waste of a 10-hour drive.
You know, for some reason I didn't pick up on this on the first Golden Gate Bridge review, but who exactly are you mad at? Is there a manager of the Golden Gate Bridge? And how could you blame anybody for the weather? Like, who are you mad at and why are you mad at them?
Awful place if you don't enjoy swarms of butterflies. Also, fruit on show is for butterflies only and not to be eaten.
Are you eating the fruit that's been left out for the butterflies to eat? And who goes to a butterfly farm and is upset that there are swarms of butterflies? Like, what did you expect? You know, I went to the butterfly farm, but I was really upset. You know what I wanted to see? Donkeys. More donkeys.
Unfortunately, the staff had more character than the taste of food served, which is not a compliment. Disdain and lies are not very tasty. I think the least you could do for the price is to buy quality food when you're lying to your customers in the eye. For the story, we asked the waitress if everything was homemade, to which she replied yes. When we went to pay, we noticed the industrial products used by the cooks. Photo attached. Homemade? I suppose the home is a local co-op or Migros. The beautiful view argument is valid, but €22 for a tasteless slice of bread with guacamole and an orange slice as big as a shot of vodka? You've got better time to go to the corner shop and have a picnic by the lake. According to my calculations, you'll pay €10 and have better memories.
Okay, and this is the picture, and there's a mixer there. Yeah? I don't... It doesn't look like an industrial size mixer. That looks like a pretty standard size mixer that people would use at home. What exactly are you expecting them to, like, hand whisk everything? That's not what most people do when they're baking at home. You attached a photo that literally disproves the argument you're trying to make. Total Karens! We arrived a bit late and they did not let us in! Slammed the door in our face and turned the sign from open to closed. Explain that to a 2-year-old! Considering you're the 2-year-old in this situation, let me explain it to you. Stores have closing times, and when you're there after the closing time, it means that they are no longer open and therefore closed. So I'll explain what happened. They closed the door because they're closed, and they turned the sign from open to close because they're closed.
No pets allowed. Is that why you gave 1 star? Yes, that's not fair. Bite me, SOB.
What exactly do you mean by it's not fair? Where's the injustice? Different businesses are going to have different rules about what their customers want. If other customers don't want pets in the store because, I don't know, maybe they're allergic, maybe they don't want dog hair in their bowl of soup, you don't have the right to bring your pet everywhere you want to. Obviously, support animals are its own thing, but this person just said pet.
Rude, unprofessional manager body shamed me on my birthday. The manager or owner was horribly mean since the moment we arrived. I was there celebrating my birthday and ended up leaving early because the manager was so rude. She body shamed me, a full-figure woman, for showing a small amount of cleavage with my shirt, which had a jacket over top. She made me feel so uncomfortable that I left immediately. Unprofessional, unaccommodating, and completely backwards, and way behind the times. We live in America. I better change my accent then. Where women should be allowed to wear what we want and not shamed for our bodies.
The manager responds, Meredith, we would be happy to discuss this with you honestly. You have already started out by exaggerating the situation. How was anyone mean from the beginning? We had a full-blown, friendly conversation with your group about roller disco. You stayed for a couple of hours, and we could tell you had a great time by all the smiles and laughter. We thought it was cute. You all were dressed for a roller disco until you unbuttoned your jacket all the way and had only a bra on underneath. It was a Sunday afternoon and a rink full of small children and families. We are definitely not into body shaming or behind the times. We have an adult night skate rink on Thursdays, and you can wear whatever you want. Sunday afternoon is not the appropriate time. I'm sure in retrospect, you would agree. There's always another side to the story, isn't there? They never quite tell the whole story in the review, do they? Imagine an honest review where they say, I started undressing in the skate rink and they asked me to leave. Doesn't have quite the same zing, does it?
A complaint regarding discrimination against my service animal. I'm writing to formally express my disappointment and frustration regarding the discriminatory treatment I experienced at Houston Museum of Natural Science. I purchased 2 tickets for $70, expecting to enjoy the exhibits. But instead, I was met with unfair treatment that violated both your stated policy and my rights as a person with a service animal. Upon arrival, I entered the museum without issue, as your policy clearly states that service animals are allowed. However, approximately 20 minutes into my visit, I was approached by security and a staff member named Adriana, who insisted that I was not welcome with my service animal solely because my service animal is a cat. Despite presenting my valid documentation from a doctor which confirms my service animal's legitimacy, I was still told to leave. Mind you, they allow horses. Adriana was very degrading. She should be repositioned and retrained to handle these situations. I felt extremely discriminated against, as Adriana and security did not acknowledge my legal rights. Furthermore, I was repeatedly asked for personal medical information, which is a violation of my privacy. Under the Americans with Disabilities Act, businesses are only allowed to ask whether a service animal is required due to a disability and what tasks the animal is trained to perform. They are not permitted to demand private medical documentation or inquire about my medical history. This experience was not only humiliating, but also a clear violation of my rights as a person with a service animal. I expect a formal response addressing this matter, an explanation of why your staff degraded your own policy, and a plan of action to prevent this type of discrimination from happening in the future. I got my refund immediately and will never be back. Please take your money elsewhere. The supervisor was also very rude and negligent.
For a moment, I almost thought I'd have to eat my own words about the service animal thing, until I got to the point where the service animal is a cat. What you have is an emotional support animal, and while that is a good thing for people who need it, it's different from a service animal. And I don't think I'm alone in thinking this. Here are some of the comments. It is stunning to me the number of people who think their emotional support pet is a service animal. 300 upvotes. ESAs are great and needed, but they are not service animals. I hate that people try and take them into private businesses and claim they're service animals when they aren't. The only thing that covers ESAs is the FHA, which means you can't be charged a pet fee or be denied your pet from a rental unit. That's it. 200 upvotes. Let's just think about this logically for a second. A dog and a cat are two very different things. A dog that is trained to help a blind person to walk around is very different to bringing a cat into a museum.
I don't think I'll go twice.
The amount of sirloin and tenderloin is too large for a woman to eat the whole meal, and I feel greasy after eating it. So I would want to eat cold buckwheat flour, but they don't sell that kind of food. Okay, you don't have to eat it all. So they gave you more food than you expected. They gave you value for your money, and you're complaining. You're complaining that they gave you too much food? To be fair, this could be somebody who grew up their whole life being told, you gotta finish everything on your plate. And so maybe they've just got that in the back of their head like, I gotta eat all this or I'm in trouble. That's one thing, but then giving a negative review about it, that's the next level. That's where you go too far. I had a terrible experience. I went on April 1st looking for a wedding dress for my wedding, April 30th. Since my wedding is so soon, I knew I had to get an off-the-rack dress. Ever since I walked in, I was told I would not be able to find anything. My mom was also wanting to find a mother of the bride dress and was told the same thing. This is supposed to be a happy day, and I felt anxious through the whole process. You're getting a wedding dress with less than a month away from your wedding, and you're blaming them that they don't have the exact thing that you need for your wedding. That's just in a few weeks. Wedding dresses often need to be an exact fit, a perfect fit, and so they need to be amended. So the chance of them having on the rack an exact perfect dress that you like and fits you perfectly is not going to be very likely. If that's even something that happens at all, how many people buy a wedding dress just off the rack? You're not going to Target here. Wait, were you at Target? Alright, that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'm actually really enjoying doing these. I get to do a lot of my voice acting and just to let all my creative energy out. So yeah, let me know if you want to see more. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.